Now, people-pleasing is a behavioural pattern where individuals prioritise others' needs over their own, often leading to emotional depletion and very unhealthy relationships.
Yes, joining us now to discuss people-pleasing and how to overcome it is life coach Mark Fennell. A phrase that we've all heard before.
Yeah.
Mark, what exactly is people-pleasing?
Well, people-pleasing, believe it or not, is self-abandonment. Now, that's something deep. And what we don't realise is we're abandoning our own views and values for the sake of approval of another. So essentially, we value approval of everyone else more than we value what we believe or want ourselves. So we self-abandon when we actually people-please. And when you put it like that to people, they kind of go, well, that makes you think a bit more about it. So,
Are you compromising your own values and
Yes.
beliefs then when you do that? That's quite damaging.
It's very damaging. You know, that's obviously the clients I'd work with, that's the scenario we find ourselves in, because what happens is self-confidence is your ability to confide in yourself. But when you're not able to confide in yourself and you're always kind of looking what other people think in order to be happy, you end up being bad at confiding in yourself, and naturally confidence goes on the down. So what happens is, it's like a puppet master. If you've ever seen a puppet master with the strings, it's like giving the strings to someone else and saying, right, you decide. But what eventually happens is the person struggles to make decisions. So they answer questions with questions. Oh, what are you doing later on? I don't know, what are you doing? And sometimes we get like that when we're tired, but when it's like that all the time, and that's when you start to lose that confidence, you can become kind of codependent in relationships, and it's not good from a leadership perspective, leading your own life or even leading a family. It's not a good thing. So it can be simple and on the surface in some areas, and it's not a problem, but when it's at a cost to you and if it's consistent, that's the difference. There's a big difference between politeness and people-pleasing. Politeness might say, well, I won't disagree with them, pick our battles, and a salesman will always be polite to customers, etc. So there's politeness. But when it's at a cost to you on an ongoing basis, that's people-pleasing, and that's the one you want to watch for.
Where is the line? Because, Irish people inherently are quite polite, and maybe people don't like confrontation. But when does it become that you're not just trying to avoid these things, you're actually becoming a people pleaser?
Yeah, it's when there's a cost to you, and the cost will always show up. You might have internal anxiety, you might come home quite frustrated, and it's like a pressure cooker. When you're going against the grain for a long period of time, it builds on the inside, and eventually that has to come out, and it might come out with someone you're comfortable with, it might come out with someone who you're not trying to people please, and then you're kind of like this double person. In work you're the yes person, but when you get home then you're brutal to live with because you're just tired and frustrated, you don't even know why. So it's when it's a cost to you. And the biggest hallmarker of is, are you happy in and of yourself, or do you need to make sure you're approved by everyone and accepted by everyone in order to be that happy? And that's when we've taken away our power, per se, and we've given it to other people. Because if you're saying, well, I'm happy once I know they're happy, well, then that's the problem. That's the disconnect, and that's the thing you've got to rework. And what people don't always grasp about people pleasing is, cultures are different. I have a friend from Germany, and people pleasing, he's like, why would you say yes when you want to say no? You can't. Some cultures are less likely to, but in Ireland, we're very much community driven, or we have that in our nature. So therefore, fit in, don't rock the boat, and rejection is the enemy. But just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean they're rejecting you. And sometimes that's where I would work with someone. We start rewording. I said, just because you said no and they didn't like it, doesn't mean you're a bad person.
But we are conditioned, I suppose, to want to help people, but at a huge cost to ourselves. How do you break out of that cycle?
Yeah, good question.
Because I still struggle with that.
And we can, because it's not something that just goes away overnight and here's a quick fix. There isn't one. It's like someone trying to get fitter. It's going to take a bit of time and a bit of consistent effort. It's the same way, with that mental fitness, so to speak. We have to start changing the wording. So a good little exercise, you can say, well, what am I saying yes to most of the time, and how am I actually saying yes when I want to say no? Let's reword that. So rather than a great example, and our little tool we can all put into play is, whenever you're asked a question, the power of the pause is what it's called. Whenever you're asked a question, you're not allowed answer. You've got to come back to them with an answer. So you're not saying no or yes, you're just not giving an answer there and then. It's I'm going to come back to you. I'll check the calendar and let you know. Let me see if I can fit that in. So if you start with just that little exercise, you're not allowed to give a yes or no answer whenever asked a direct question. Now, unless it's something, if you're working in A&E and it's like, pass me that quick, let me get back to you. It's not going to work. But what I am going to say is, we start taking that approach that I'm not going to give direct answers to direct questions initially. I'm going to give them a polite, I'll get back to you, or follow up with. That's the beginning of cracking the yes man scenario. And when you start with that, then you can go, well, look at your calendar. You can then come back and say, I can't make that, I've already got plans. And another way you can do it is, look at your calendar per se. What do you want to do at the weekend? Before the phone rings or someone asks you to do something or a job wants you to do something, what do you want to do? Now book it in, and when someone asks you to do something on the Friday night and you just want to sit at home and put the feet up, you go, oh, listen, I've already plans, can't make that. Putting yourself
And
as
the
a priority.
plans can be watching telly with your feet up.
Well, it's just as important as doing stuff. Yeah, and this is what we don't realise, that rest is productive. We really don't get that with our nervous system. Our nervous system is not designed to be switched on all the time. So yeah, rest is important.
Guys, would you mind hanging around for a couple of hours now? We might come back to you on this.
Yeah,
Whatever you need.
Can I get back to you?
He's a yes man.
You said you broke away from the cycle, Conor. Now look at it. Here we go again.
Sucked you back
oh
in.
my God.
Just say no.
Right, you stay around. I could use you for a few sessions, let me tell you. Listen, lads, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you.
It's been a revelation.